In the words of Angela Santomero, self-love is necessary for a functional and productive life. Hello and welcome to Vibrant Ladies in the Waiting Room. I'm your hostess, Christy.
Vibrant Ladies in the Waiting Room with Christy.
Keep watching Vibrant Ladies in the Waiting Room.
Our vision is empowering and encouraging single and married women in their waiting period.
Keep watching Vibrant Ladies in the Waiting Room with Christy.
For counseling, prayers, and sponsorship, contact 0803 112 2669 and 0809 424 2503.
You are most welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Can we meet you?
Thank you so much. My name is Stella Odunwa. I'm a retired civil servant working with one of the government agencies as an admin person. So now that I'm retired, I'm pursuing the passion that I have, which is Toastmasters. And in Toastmasters, what I do is helping people to find their speaking voice, to find their leadership strengths, and also to mentor and coach people towards their goals and their missions and visions. I'm a mother of 3 and a grandmother. I am someone that is very interested in discovering myself, someone interested in dancing, not the way you normally think of dancing, but I enjoy dancing in my own way. And I find it very, very interesting, relaxing, and fulfilling. I also love traveling, and I love coaching and mentoring, as I have said before. So perhaps that is why I'm here.
Thank you so very kindly for that interesting introduction of your profile. So, the topic now, we talked about it. So let's dive straight into the discussion. When you hear the words self-esteem and your authentic self, what usually comes to your mind?
Self-esteem is that which empowers you and makes you who you truly are. We know that when God created us, He created us in His own image, and He made in us, He put in us unique talents and attributes and qualities. These qualities, as we grew up, we found ourselves discovering who we are, what we enjoy doing, what's our passion, what's our strength, and what it is that is unique to us. Now, over the time, maybe as a result of having friends, peer pressures, or even people often talking down on us and criticizing us, or even just watching the social media itself and seeing the glamorous nature of everyone, the popularity, we tend to lose ourselves and think that jumping into the wagon train of popularity, of the latest fad, is what it is. And in the process, you find yourself sometimes losing yourself. Now, I will just give an example. Here is a young girl. I will just call her Tinu as an example. Tinu is a very, very beautiful and smart young lady. But when she entered the secondary school, she found out that there was a group called the In-Group. That In-Group was a group of girls who believed in talking down on people, being saucy, being snobbish, and feeling good about their inner clique set. To belong to that group, because she felt she was being left out if she didn't belong. And she found herself trying to belong to the group by licking boots, by going on errands, by giving them her provisions and things like that, that ended up letting them accept her. But even as they accepted her, she found out that she wasn't really true to herself because, one, she found that even as she was popular, she had no authentic friends. She had no real friends who got her back. Those in-group ended up betraying her because when she didn't give them her tips, her provisions, her little gifts that would make them endeared to her, They ended up snubbing her, and she would find herself looking for more money to bribe them to belong. At a time, she was lean when her parents came to visit her. They found out Tinu was very lean. She was looking unhappy, and she was not even focused on her studies anymore because she was all interested in belonging to the in group. She sold herself to popularity over being who she was, and she lost her way along the line. Her studies suffered, her character suffered, and even her parents were not happy with what she had become. The question now is, how does she find herself back, her way back to who she really was? And deep down, she knew she was not happy because no one actually liked her rude behaviors and the way that she was snobbish to everyone. Finding yourself or being your authentic self is not easy. It's a very challenging thing because we find out that it's so easy to get lost in the holy-bolly of life. But if we must be happy, if we must discover ourselves and walk our paths, then we have to discover who we really are and come back to our authentic selves.
Thank you so kindly for that detailed explanation and giving a very practical example of Tino. I like the story. It's an interesting one which we can all relate with. And a lot of people, a lot of students, so many people are going through that.
Yes. We even had a recent case of someone who was married, and the husband said he couldn't bear it anymore, that he had to go for a divorce because she lied that she had a degree, whereas she didn't have. She lied that she was working. She was not working. All the clothes that she was using and buying, she told lies that they were given to her by her rich relatives.
Jesus.
They were not. She was buying them on credit until the husband began to receive phone calls. Left, right, and center. Please, your wife is owing me. I can't bear it anymore. Even loan apps began to call him. He kept on paying debts. At the end of it all, he said he couldn't just live like that because it was impoverishing and he had no peace anymore.
So what are the strategies we can use to build our self-esteem?
One, or let me say, there are no real strategies per se, but if we are to go by the practical steps that we want to take as preached to us, as advised to us, I will say that the first thing is knowing who you are. Who are you? What are the values your parents, your family instilled in you as at the time you were growing up? What do they stand for? And if they didn't instill in you good values, what are the values that you think you have looked at in people that you have found worthy and good and godlike that you should cultivate? Because sometimes we may not be opportune to have living examples from our families, from our parents teaching us. Because I know a child who grew up, the parents were always fighting, they were always quarreling, and it was like everyone was always coming to settle. And he, being a young man, told himself this was not life because he had living examples from his friends whose parents were stable, were loving, were true and good. So he saw something to emulate in them. So if you do not have such privilege of having a background where your parents were living example, you will have from families, from neighbors, from friends. You will see good examples that you think is what you want and what you would like to have. In the process, you will also come to realize that those good qualities that you are admiring are the godlike qualities that you see in them. When God created us, He made us in His image. He made us God-fearing. He made us loving. He made us true to ourselves, and He made us even compassionate to others. And one of His laws is do unto others that which you want them to do unto you. That should be our guiding compass. So because we want to be treated nicely, we know that being nice is good. We know that it is virtuous and it's Christianly. We know that it is, God doesn't like lies, so we know that we should be honest. And because we know that truthfulness, compassion, and love for others is part of the things that make us human, one of the first things that we should do is be true to ourselves. So being authentic means being true to yourself. Being authentic means doing that which is good, having good values and ethics that serve as a compass, a moral guide for you in everything that you are doing.
Thank you so much, Ma.
So being true to yourself is being honest, being authentic, having a moral compass, and then living the way God wants us to live as virtuous and Christian children.
I like the way you have broken everything down. And especially you first mentioned that you must know who you are. Because when you don't know who you are, you can get intimidated easily.
Yes.
You think people can make you feel lower than who you are. You start to feel very inferior. Meanwhile, like you said, that you are unique.
Yes.
God has fearfully and wonderfully created everyone. So the word self-esteem and self-confidence is related. Can you tell us the relationship of the two words?
I think the two are like 5 and 6.
Yeah.
If you have good self-esteem and self-awareness, you have confidence. For instance, if you know, okay, let me give an example of when I was growing up. I tend to have a curvy shape. And in the curvy shape, I noticed that mine was a bit different from others. Whereas theirs is like this and like this, mine was a bit on the lower side. So they called it low waist. And each time I walk, my friends in the secondary school would always try. I never knew that my waist was low until I got to secondary school. I felt it was just normal. But when I got into the secondary school, they started calling me Lowy, Lowy. So, and I began to think that that was not a shape one should have. And each time I walked, I found myself trying to maybe almost disappear my hip just to cover my low waistness. Let's put it that way. But one day I told myself, what makes me think that the person who is trying to make me feel small and feel not good enough is better than I am? This waist that I had, that everyone likes, that everyone wishes they have, is now what somebody's trying to tell me. Even those who have straight pole shapes, trying to tell me that it's not good. And did they create me? They didn't. At that point, I came to this realization that whether it was low, whether it was middle low, I was okay with it. And I was good, and I was going to be proud of it. I was going to show it. And really, I'm not be giving excuse or trying to enter ground because those who were calling me low waist had come. So having an authentic self is part of having the self-esteem, self-confidence, challenging limitations in a way, not in a negative way. Because the low waist, I did not try to pad my waist to maybe buy artificial curls to. I didn't try to do that.
Have landed into trouble by doing that.
I accepted myself for who I was, and I was happy with myself
for who you are.
And that no one has a right to look down on me for being who
Please say it again. Say that again.
I said no one has a right to look down on me for being who I was.
God bless you, ma. This reminds me of the story of a woman. She was a mature, single woman, and she was waiting on God to get married soon. So somebody proposed to her in abroad, and they were communicating. She loved the personality of the person, and that other one too loved hers. So they've seen their pictures and everything. So this man was to travel down to Nigeria to see her. And she had a bit of gray hair. And many people were telling her, go and dye it, go and cut it off, go and do this. He may not like it. And the lady just came to herself, let me be now, let me leave it. If he wants it, fine. If he doesn't want it, fine. If he doesn't want, if because of that he doesn't want to marry me, fine. So guess what? The man came, and seeing the woman, the very first thing that got him interested, that he loved about the woman, was that gray hair. He was like, oh wow, I love this gray hair.
That's true. When you are authentic and true to yourself, you will find people of like minds being attracted to you. You can choose popularity. You will find people on the fast lane. They want fame, they are there, but truly, you don't belong. For that popularity, yes, it seems as if life is glamorous. You have it. But do you really belong? When the time to fall comes, you will find that no one is there standing by you to support you. It is those that you look down on, those that you thought were not good enough, that are true to themselves, that will be the one to say, you know what, even though you had been rude, been bad, there's nothing wrong with making mistakes and realizing your mistakes. They are the ones to dust you up. They are the ones to pick you and show you genuine love, where those other ones are not lacking. They just keep moving on and on and on. And it's a fast life. And when you go that way, you also burn out fast.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. Hello, viewers. I'm sure you're enjoying our program. So stay tuned with us. We'll go on a quick break.
Vibrant Ladies in the Waiting Room with Christy.
Keep watching Vibrant Lady in the Waiting Room.
Our vision is empowering and encouraging single and married women in their waiting period.
Keep watching Vibrant Ladies in the Waiting Room with Christy.
For counseling, price, and sponsorship, contact 0803 112 2669 and 0809 424 2503.
Hello, you're welcome back.
Welcome.
So, what's happened to us when self-esteem is lacking?
Self-esteem is lacking. The first thing that is obvious is the person is not true to his inner self. That person will not sit down and reflect. Who am I? Where am I going? What are the things? Where do I want to see myself in my old age? Who are the kind of quality of friends that I need? Am I being good to people? Am I driving everyone? Am I talking down on people, or am embracing people, accepting them for who they are and everything? Am I accepting of myself? If I do something bad, am I able to sit down and reassess and reevaluate what I'm doing and correct myself in the ways that matter, so that I can be a better version of myself? A person who has self-esteem and is authentic is able to sit down and have emotional intelligence and reassess and evaluate himself or herself, so that he looks at where he or she is going and is able to draw the line and move on. A person who has self-esteem and is authentic is also someone who is able to have boundaries. If they come to me with this amount of money to poison this well belonging to a community, knowing that they will die, is the money worth it? Is it not worth it? Is the person who is able to reflect and say, no, I can't do that because money is not everything.
Wow.
But the one who doesn't will not see anything wrong with just dropping that poison and moving away. As far as is concerned, is it not just dropping the poison? So the person who has self-esteem and is authentic has a moral compass. He has boundaries, and is also able to set boundaries for people too. He's not someone who allows everyone to walk across him or her, or walks across people anyhow and steps on people anyhow. So when you have self-esteem and you have self-worth and you have your moral compass, you will find that not everything goes for you. There are times when you will say no to this and no to that. The one who doesn't have never says no to anything, so long as it brings money, it brings popularity, it brings fame. Oh, it's all about that. So the person who also does not have, that is not true to his or her authentic self, is someone who does not have inner peace. You can't have inner peace when you have murdered so many people, you have destroyed so many lives, you have done so many things that ears cannot hear of, just because you want to belong, you want to be famous, you even deny your parents just because you don't want to be seen as being poor, things like that. Are you authentic? The person has no inner peace. And because the foundation is not solid, you find the person always telling lies and living on top of one lies or the other, building castles in the air that when it's shown on a bright light, it doesn't stand. And at the end of it all, the person burns himself or herself out. Like the example I gave of the young lady. The husband later found it out and he decided he couldn't live with it anymore. You can't hide who you are.
Exactly.
So the best thing is, it's difficult. It's a tough road, but if you are authentic from the beginning, you are happier. You live a less born, that is a life that is not on the fast road that burns. It's not the wide road, it's the narrow road. At the same time, you can still achieve fame, you can still achieve success, you can still achieve what you want to be, but in a genuine and authentic way.
Thank you so very kindly, ma'am. So, in today's world, where is a world of glamour and glaze? The world is a social media village where everything on social media is beaming whatever money can buy. Yes. How can we still have the courage? Can you tell us about still having the courage to be our authentic self?
Okay, thank you. The other day, let me give an example. My granddaughter, she came to me because she was hearing this advert of a sweet. And she said, "Grandma, how can we buy it?" So I told her that advertisements are just glamour. They beam to you everything that they think you should buy. It's for you to be selective. Have you never licked sweet before? She said yes. So why must you look for that sweet? I don't even know where to. I told her I don't know where to find this sweet. But in any case, the lesson here was that I let her know that it's not everything you hear. It's not everything you see that you now want to acquire. If I have to acquire everything I see on television or on the radio, I will become a pauper. Do you want grandma to be poor? She said no. I said, so we can't buy everything. Neither can you follow everything you see on social media. You see those that you admire on social media wearing designer clothes, wearing designer shoes, bags, everything. Some of them, they give them as promo to advertise their products for them. And that is where this man, Rich Dad Poor Dad, said the difference between the poor and the rich is very glaring. You see, the poor wants to show that he has arrived. That is why if he has 10,000 naira today, he wants to buy things and wear flash so that people will say he's now a big man. But the big man, the rich man, will say that 10,000 is just a drop. I want to invest it, and I'm even looking for more to invest. And he's thinking of how to grow money and become rich and successful. No amount of money is too small for the rich man to invest. But the poor man, every money he sees is how to shine, how to tell people, I have arrived, how to tell people I'm big. They want to buy the fastest cars. They want to. I still remember long ago when Obasanjo gave us a windfall. That's the then President Obasanjo gave us a windfall where he paid us huge sums of money as civil servants. And some of my colleagues felt it was time to marry another wife. As an admin person, I had to hold a meeting and begin to re-educate them that, one, you're almost 50 years. what wife do you want to have at this age? And how will you now raise that child before you retire? In only 10 years more, you are going to retire. You will start training a child from primary school in your old age, when you know that even the pension will not come until maybe a year or two later. How do you want to pay school fees? You are going to work yourself into oblivion. You have to use that money to invest, to start thinking of the future for yourself. It's not a windfall. It's not to buy cars. It's not to do things. So let's be mindful of how we allow social media to now mislead us and direct us from paths that we should take. There's nothing wrong with buying cars. There's nothing wrong with having money. There's nothing wrong with dressing beautifully. There's nothing wrong. But you must save towards it. You must invest. You must plan towards it. Don't just buy because it's a win. Don't just buy because you want to please people. If you are a people pleaser, you will buy the junkiest of things just because you want to belong.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. So lastly, this program is called Vibrant Ladies in the Waiting Room. Christy, a lot of viewers are waiting for different things. Different. Some are waiting for their next level. There's something they are just believing God to do for them, and they are working on it. So what advice do you have for people in various waiting rooms?
Let's come back to being authentic. All of us in life, we came with missions. We came with visions. We have unique things that God created us for. I know that being single can be something of a challenge because the grass is always greener at the other side. But do you know that a lady, a young lady I met the other time told me she didn't want to get married. And I asked her why. She said, marriage is not carved out for everyone. And that was a surprise to me. That marriage is not carved out for everyone. She told me that looking at the relationships of people around her, of family, friends, they have not given her a very good example of what to look forward to in marriage. And as such, she would rather be herself and be happy with it. Now, some of us will say, no, that's too drastic an opinion to have. But this is a lady who found her peace in being who she was. She pursues her business. She adopts her relatives' children and she's training them. She impacts on people. And she said when she's ready to have a child, she would adopt when the time comes and raise her child. For her, she sees nothing wrong with that. So for me, I found something admirable about her. She had looked into herself. She had looked into what she said. She doesn't want a man to start holding her down, to start dictating to her what she wants and everything, and not give her peace. Is it good or bad? I don't think it is. It is somebody who looked inwards at herself and found that she could be happy.
She has experienced
yes,
a lot. She has gone through, and based on that experience, she made a conclusion.
Yes, she now had the courage to say, look, if it comes, fine. If she meets someone good, fine. But she's not going to marry out of desperation and decide that because she wants to please society, she wants to please her parents, she wants to please people, now jump into a well. So she's honoring herself, she's worshiping her God, she's facing her business, and she's not wayward. She keeps herself true to herself and is godly, is God-fearing, and she says when the time comes, she will adopt a child. So those in the waiting room, please, there's nothing bad about being in the waiting room, because people will tell you that those who have rushed in, they have rushed out as well. And the important thing is finding the peace that is within you while waiting. Finding love for yourself and not feeling that the world is passing you by. Be happy. Be authentic. Find what works best for you and continue to work at it. If you see a good one, definitely embrace it. But keep embracing yourself, embracing your true self, and don't allow the bandwagon to make you lose your way.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you here, sharing your insight with us and interesting story. Thank you very much for the enthralling section. God bless you. Until next time again when we come your way.
Thank you. And remember, find yourself, discover yourself, and be your authentic self. It's the best way to go. Don't get lost in the crowd.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.